In the sprawling city of Paris, 1789 marked not just the end of a decade, but the dawning of storm. The streets were alive with whispers of change, discontent echoing in the chambers of the starving, overworked masses. Among them was a young seamstress named Elise, a figure of gentle resolve and unyielding spirit. She had stitched her way through the bleakness of her humble abode, yet in her heart was sewn the colorful fabric of revolution. The scene was woven with an intensity that reflected the larger tumult gripping France. In the shadowy alleys and vibrant markets, stories of the injustice wrought by the aristocracy were swapped like currency. Bread was scarce, and too many went to bed with nothing but the bitter taste of stale crust lingering on their tongues. Elise learned to read the tides of emotion in her community, quietly planning and waiting for the right moment. Her friend Jacques was far from quiet. A fervent agitator, Jacques wore his emotions as vividly as the slogans he painted on every wall he could find. Each stroke was a cry for liberation, every brush a caress to the flames of rebellion. If Elise represented the patient currents, Jacques was the gathering storm, inevitable, unpredictable, simmering with electricity. Their differences fueled their friendship, each finding strength where the other faltered. Elise loved the quietude of planning, the clarity of knowing where each piece fit in the grand puzzle of revolution. Jacques lived for the confrontation, for the echoing sound of their voices as they clanged through the streets demanding change. As summer gave way to autumn, the king called upon the Estates General, a meeting that had not been convened for over a century. It offered a glimmer of hope, a chance to address the cavernous gap between the opulence of the court and the destitution of the common people. Yet, it was not long before hope turned to exasperation as the Third Estate, the very heart of France's populace, found their voices muted by laws crafted to keep them silent. It was Jacques who suggested storming the castle as tensions heightened. "Let's make them hear us, Elise," he urged, his eyes alight with fervor. But she suggested another way, the power of the pen, the written echoes of their demands and grievances compiled into pamphlets and essays. Their partnership became a dance of tactics and inspiration, spreading their ideals till they ignited a spark. This climaxed on July 14th with the storming of the Bastille, a monumental symbol of oppression. Elise stood among her compatriots, her heart pounding in unison with the thunderous roars around her as the fortress fell, brick by brick, stone by compelling stone. The day was won, yet the struggle for freedom would not be short-lived. Elise and Jacques, alongside their fellow citizens, navigated the treacherous seas of newfound liberty, aware of the chaos it often invited. New leaders emerged, old enemies lingered, but the dream they chased was not an illusion. Through trials and triumphs, Elise imagined a France where every voice was heard and valued. Jacques continued to stoke the fires of progress, daring the old order to stand in his way. And so, with each untold story, each unsung hero in every corner of France, the revolution moved onward, carving its legacy in both the earth and the histories that would follow. Their tale, one of countless struggles for freedom, whispered its testament to the endurance of hope. Together, in their myriad forms, revolutionaries like Elise and Jacques painted a landscape of change that endured long after the echoes of their voices had faded into the annals of time.